Welcome to Season 7 of Open Forum in the Villages, Florida. In this show, we talk to leaders of clubs and interesting folks who live in and around the villages. We also talk to people who have information vital to seniors. You will get perspectives of what is happening in the Villages, Florida area. We are a listener-supported podcast. There will be shout-outs for supporters.
This is Mike Roth on Open Forum in the Villages, Florida. I'm here today with Donna Hoover. Thanks for joining me again, Donna.
Mike, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Today, Donna, I'm interviewing you as a writer because you've written a book, Wandering in the Shadows. In your background, for our listeners, people should know that you're a singer, longtime magazine contributor, and you're a TV reporter.
Yes.
Now, this is a book that took 7.5 years
Yes.
to write, Wandering in the Shadows. It's an extraordinary story of a true story of your sister, Jennifer, who was a free-spirited young woman whose life spiraled into addiction, abuse, trauma, and ultimately an astonishing journey back to faith, hope, and survival, including living through a brain aneurysm. Now, that's a life-changing event all by itself.
Absolutely.
Many people wouldn't live through something like that. Donna's mission in this book is to show that no one has gone too far for God to reach, and every life holds the possibility of redemption. Donna, what finally led you to telling your sister's story in writing this book, Wandering in the Shadows?
I had always wanted to write a book. It was one of the things on my list of things to do before I die. And I just didn't have any idea what I should write about. And then one day I was talking to Jennifer and she said, I want my story told and I would like to use it to help other people. And I thought, I think this would be a great thing to do. And I knew that this could maybe carry something bigger than the two of us in reaching other people that were going through the type of things she went through. And also we found that it would be a great resource for those who also love somebody that might be going through these things as well. And I felt as I was writing it, part of it for me was my memories. Part of it was I was learning new things I had no idea that she had gone through. And so it was really a big thing to learn everything that had happened to her that I had not been aware of.
You were how many years distant from your sister?
I am 9 years older, so I was already out of the house for a lot of this, and then she left as well.
And you were never in the same school or never in the same class?
Yeah, because there is quite a distance there, and her story changed me too in some ways.
How did it change you?
It helped me to develop compassion and not be judgmental in the way that I admit I had been, because I did not understand addiction. I didn't understand why someone would have an eating disorder or stay in a domestic abuse relationship. I have just always had the idea, well, just don't do it. Stop it. Quit. Like, why don't you just not do it?
Sharp left turn, yeah.
Yeah. And suddenly, as I listened to her story and understood something compels somebody, and then it takes on a life of its own, and it takes you a lot farther than you want to go. And then by the time you realize you want to get out of it, you're so far deep, you don't know how to get out of it. So I learned a lot in that way.
And how did you balance in your writing the raw honesty with the hope and writing about addiction, trauma, and then faith?
It was difficult. Right off the bat, we realized that it had to be told. This story had to be told with transparency. My sister went into this very bravely, and she did not hold anything back. She seriously took me into the trenches with her and did not sugarcoat anything. And so that is reflected, obviously, in the story. But the good part was there was always hope in this message, even when times were really bad, even when there was despair, there was always like a thread of hope that she was clinging to. And she just, at a certain point, she wanted to get out of it. She just did not know how to get out. And yeah, so ultimately the book, just so you know, it's written for people of faith, but it's also written for people who are not faith-based. It does not lean heavily on spirituality, although that is definitely in there because it's part of our story. But there's a great deal of compassion for anyone, whether you have faith or don't. It doesn't really matter.
Now, addiction and abuse are a heavy topic by itself, but then you say your sister had a brain aneurysm. Was there anything physical that brought that on, or is that mental, or is that just luck of the draw?
She attributes it to her smoking. She was actually smoking a cigarette when she had the brain aneurysm, and that had been like the last thing that she was holding on to from her life of addiction. She had kicked everything else when she was doing great, and then she had a burst brain aneurysm.
That's
and
a blood vessel that bursts in the brain.
Yeah, and I believe the statistic is that 50% of people die before they even get to the hospital. And there were some things that happened that kind of hedged the bet against her because they didn't diagnose it quickly. So that could be incredibly problematic.
So would that have been described as a brain bleed?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, when I first saw her, I flew to Oklahoma, and I walked into the hospital room, and she actually had a tube coming out of the center of her head where, it's graphic, but they had drilled a hole in her head, and there was a tube coming out, and I could sit there and watch the blood coming out into a bag. And I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah, it was pretty extreme.
How long was she in the hospital?
It was about a month, right around a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That could be debilitating in and of itself. Okay. Now, what do you think gave her the resilience to survive and turn her life around?
I think there was always something in her where she was holding on to faith, where she was holding on to God, even when she wasn't necessarily reaching out to him. I think she always believed, and she knew, like when she was young, she was a very bright, shining creature, as it were. She was a whimsical, creative, fun, free-spirited girl, and she maintained that even through the addictions and all that. But there was always this, I think, a hope that just lived within her. And then she dug down deep in her own strength and then leaning on God.
So is there one scene or chapter that still lingers with you?
Yeah, without giving too much away, there is a moment early in the book when Jennifer is very young and she doesn't understand the danger she's walking into. And I was a little bit shocked by what happened to her. I think this incident lingers with me because it shows how innocence can be stolen long before a person even realizes what's happening.
How old was Jennifer when this happened?
I believe she was about 11.
That's pretty young.
Yeah. Yeah. So and then there were many things over time, but yeah.
Was from the type of people she was hanging out with?
Not at that time. No, that was maybe what kicked off some things, perhaps. But you could read the book and find out.
I don't want to reveal everything in this
I know,
movie.
that's what I'm saying.
Can you tell us why that one scene when she was 11 lingers in your mind?
I think it's just that you don't ever know what is underneath it all. A little bit like what I was saying a minute ago about why don't people just stop doing what they're doing, stop drinking, stop taking drugs, because there's something underneath it all that we can't see, and they don't even maybe recognize or know. And I think that was the biggest lesson that I took away myself in writing this book and learning everything that I learned.
Was it a psychological lesson?
Absolutely, and emotional as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it changed my opinion of people that are struggling.
Was something in her inner child that caused her to be susceptible to the addiction and abuse?
For my sister?
Yes.
I would say, honestly, I would point back to our father's suicide as probably a really big impetus for a lot of things, because when you've left a hole like that in a child's life, it needs to be filled. And I think she spent decades searching for that substitute.
How old was she when that happened?
She was 4.
4?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an impressionable age.
Yeah. So.
Because she carried some subconscious memories from that point.
And yeah, so she never had really a solid father figure to walk her through life, through growing up.
So you were about 13 then.
Yes.
Were there any other traumas early in her life?
I would say that, and then the one I referenced that I didn't reveal, probably those two things.
Okay. Why do you think someone should read the book?
I would say that in reading the book, one, you will probably, as I did, gain an understanding about a lot of things, about addiction, alcoholism, eating disorders, domestic abuse, and you will learn to understand what a person is going through rather than just having a judgment call on someone. And
Did your sister go through all of those things?
all of those things and more, actually. Yeah, those are just a few. There's a really long laundry list. Yeah, a lot of things.
It sounded like more than one person.
I know. And to me, I think that is ultimately what I see as the ultimate lesson for others, is that if my sister could survive this long list of things, the brain aneurysm, there were other things. There were miscarriages, there were abortions, there was one abortion. There were so many things that she dealt with over the years that if you are out there struggling, you probably haven't dealt with as many as she has. So I would say if she can overcome this long laundry list of things, I dare say if you have one or two of these things, you probably can too.
So for someone who is struggling today with one or more of the problems that your sister had, what advice or lessons of hope can you give them without reading the book?
No, I would first of all say absolutely there's hope. And no matter what you've been through, no matter, or if it's someone that you love, no matter what they've been through, it doesn't matter, because there is always hope. There is a light. You just need to follow the light. And as low as you might feel, there is something waiting for you on the other side. And you need to just believe that for yourself.
So who is the book written for? Is it written for the loved ones of the person going through these problems, or is the book written for the person going through these problems?
It was really written for both, and I don't think I realized that at first. When I was writing it, I thought I was just telling Jennifer's story, and this would be for people who were struggling as she had. As I wrote it and as I presented it to beta readers and got the feedback, I realized that I was an important part of the story, and I didn't even realize it, really, because you're just living your life. You don't know. So I realized that the people, who are going through it with the addict or with the person who's an alcoholic or whatever it might be, they are a big part of the story too. You don't just go into addiction all by yourself. You bring your family and friends with you. And so
sometimes as unwilling participants.
Oh, absolutely unwilling participants. But what happened to me is that, like I said, I learned, and this book is for others who want to understand what their person is going through. And it's an encouragement to those that love someone who is struggling as well.
And now let's listen to Dr. Craig Curtis as we talk about Alzheimer's disease. What is the diagnostic process to split the difference between someone who has Alzheimer's and someone who has a different form of dementia?
Let's take a quick break.
Have you heard about Mature Adults with Donna Hoover and Mike Roth? Yes, this is my second podcast, and Donna and I are going to be addressing subjects which are significant for seniors, especially seniors living here in the villages. The easiest way to hear the show is to look it up on Apple Podcasts. Look for Mature Adults with Donna and Mike. We'll be looking for you there. You can also find us on Mature Adults with Donna and Mike, all spelled out, @buzzsprout.com.
That's a great question, Mike. So Alzheimer's disease in the past was a clinical diagnosis, and we would talk to the patient and the family, and they would tell us about this progressive memory loss and maybe other symptoms that had been occurring over the past 3 to 5 years. And we would simply test their memory and maybe wait another year or two and retest their memory to look for decline. Nowadays, it's completely different. As a matter of fact, now our diagnostic process involves actually looking for amyloid in the brain, which we now know causes Alzheimer's disease.
How do you see amyloid in the brain?
We can see amyloid in the brain using PET scans, which is the most common way. And now we're working on using blood tests, which are going to be coming out in the next few years. In fact, there's already one blood test that is FDA cleared to detect amyloid in the blood, which is reflecting amyloid in the brain.
And that would be the differential between another type of dementia and Alzheimer's.
Yes, sir.
With over 20 years of experience studying brain health, Dr. Curtis's goal is to educate the Villages community on how to live a longer, healthier life. To learn more, visit his website, craigcurtismd.com, or call 352-500-5252 to attend a free seminar.
I'm back with Donna Hoover talking about her book, Wandering in the Shadows. Is your mother still alive?
Yes.
Has your mom read the galley proofs of the book?
Yes, and she's very uncomfortable with it, to be honest. There's some family secrets that come out that she's not happy about. But in the being transparent, a lot of the things had to be told. And she did write a supportive letter to Jennifer that's in the book too. But I think, like most people, once you've been through a lot of trauma, you just want to put it behind you. And I believe she's coming from that place where she would just rather, we move past it, right? Why talk about it?
Close the door.
Yeah, close the door. But Jennifer is very compelled to help other people, so we couldn't really do that.
What line of work is Jennifer in today?
She is a mom. She has a young son, and she is still living in her creative life. She creates like the best birthday parties you ever wanted to see for a little kid. She makes things from scratch. One time she made this gigantic sail that was, 30 feet tall for a pirate party for his birthday. So she's totally engrossed in motherhood, and she's into now more holistic living, eating healthy, eating organic, making good choices in every way in her life now. And she takes her son journey to his
How many
lessons.
years ago was the
aneurysm happened in 2020.
Okay, so 5 years ago.
Yeah. Almost 6 now. We're closing
Almost
in.
6.
My goodness.
Yeah, time flies.
Right?
For someone struggling today, what message of hope would you like them to have today and if they read the book?
The message of hope is that, one, you're not in this alone. God is with you, and you might not see it, you might not feel it, but he is there, and he has his hand out waiting for you. And you definitely can overcome this no matter what it feels like today. And if you read the book, it's not a straight line. You're not going to see Jennifer decide today I'm going to get sober and the next day she's sober. It just doesn't work like that. You'll see yourself in the book, I guarantee it. And like I said, if there was hope for Jennifer, I promise you there's hope for you.
What was the most shocking moment that you discovered while telling her story?
I would say it was when I found out that her life was really in danger, and I didn't realize to the extent that she was living in danger. And it was from someone who was supposed to take care of her and keep her safe. And it was a little jarring to know, like I said, some of the things that she lived through that I really had no idea.
And in the time that she was having these problems with addiction and alcohol, did she run into law enforcement or any other social workers that might have helped her?
She absolutely ran into law enforcement. If you read the book, you'll find about the time she was arrested as a felon. Yeah, that happened.
Could happen. Were you afraid that the family secrets that you revealed, that your mom didn't so much apparently, would ricochet onto you?
Yeah, honestly, it was my biggest fear. The whole thing was hard. I presented the book to my mom in the summer, and it was difficult because I knew she wasn't going to be happy. And I love my mom. I don't want to do anything to hurt her. But like I said, the things that are told need to be told. And It could be a cautionary tale. It could be, and also hope if you're stuck in it.
Was there one single thing that pulled Jennifer back from the brink of destruction?
I would say there were a couple things. One of them was God's grace. Another one was the birth of her daughter. That made a big impact on her life, getting her out of a very dire situation. Then later, her son, of course. And then for her, she's a very stubborn person. Her stubbornness and her inner strength, I think they all combined together. And then, of course, we were all contending for her, those of us in the family.
You say in the book that Jennifer had a gift for bringing light even into the darkest of seasons. What did her hopefulness or creativeness teach you about joy, even when life is hard?
Jennifer was and still is a person who finds a childlike beauty in everything. There are some funny little stories in there that involve her bringing music to people, encouraging people. She never looked at herself as someone who was down, even when she was. She always looked at herself as an encourager to others. And so that part of her is inexplicable, because most people who are going through what she's going through are in a deep, dark place. She eventually, emotionally, definitely had some despair, which is what eventually draws you out. But so much about her brings joy to other people. And I think that's one of the keys that make this book a little bit special, is that it's not just a story of darkness and despair and addiction and alcoholism. It is a story of a girl who you fall in love with and root for, that you think, oh my gosh, I want this girl to win. I want her to get out of this. Why doesn't she get out of this? And you care for her. Like I said, you fall in love with her. And I think that's what really makes the book different, because there's a light side and a dark side, and they play off of each other for sure.
Mm-hmm. So it took you 7.5 years to write the book. Okay, today the book is available on Amazon.
Yes, you can go to our website, wanderingintheshadows.com, and you can also find it on Amazon. I go under the name Donna M.Z. Hoover, and so that would be the author's name. I thought that Donna Hoover was a little too common of a name, so I threw some middle initials in there.
Does the Z mean anything?
That was my maiden name. That's Jennifer's last name, Zajac. She retained that name. So it's actually Donna Marie Zajac Hoover.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good. And tell our listeners about how many pages the book is.
The page count, I think it's 337 pages in totality.
And is it available as a Kindle book as well?
Yes, you can get it right now as an ebook and as a paperback, and we're considering doing an audio version. We haven't gone down that road yet, and probably a hardcover as well.
Yeah, I know someone who might be able to read it very well.
Yeah.
The female voice is familiar with the story.
Yeah.
Are you doing any promotions on the book on Amazon?
We are doing a lot of promotions right now on Facebook and YouTube. So you can go to Facebook, Wandering in the Shadows. You can go to YouTube, Wandering in the Shadows. The name is all the same on all of the platforms. And you can find us. You can go to our website and view a lot of the promotional videos. There are a lot of behind-the-scenes interviews that I did with Jennifer, and you can meet her, and then you can see her, and then you can hear in her own voice her talking about some of the things she went through.
Okay, so you have a full promotional package on
We
the book.
do. Yeah,
Okay,
we do.
Can people read a sample of the book on Amazon?
Yes, they can.
How did you select what the sample is?
Just looking for something that was exciting and that would be compelling and make people wondering, wow, what's going to happen next?
Is there going to be a sequel?
I'm sure I'll write another book. I don't know what it'll be about. I don't know what the subject matter will be. I'm considering and praying about that. Yeah. I don't think it'll take 7.5 years, though. I don't know if I have that kind of time.
With the tools available to us today in AI, it shouldn't take anywhere near that amount of time.
I would hope not. My goodness.
Are you going to turn it into I used to call them comic books then, what do they call them? Graphic novels today. Are you planning on turning it into a graphic novel too?
Actually, my goal, and it has been since the first day that I typed the first word of the book, my goal is to have it made into a movie or a miniseries, because I think that there's just enough contrast between her fun, sweet character and the dark stuff she got into, that you would be rooting for her and you would enjoy the ride.
Oh, as an author, who do you see playing the lead of your sister's part?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Gosh.
I've been accused of that a lot.
I'm going to have to think about that because I don't know. Can you think of anybody? Some young actress? I don't know. Gosh, that is an excellent question.
Something to think about.
I will be thinking about it now.
Have you written the pitch script for Hollywood?
Not yet. I mainly focused on getting this book out, and it was very interesting. When you write a book, you think you're just going to write a book. You're not. You're going to start a business too. I didn't know that, so I'm learning that.
A lot of writers never do.
Yeah. If you don't start a business on the back end, your book's probably not going anywhere, would be my guess.
Books published every month.
So many.
So many. Okay, and you have to stand out from the crowd.
Absolutely.
What are you doing besides the promotional pieces to make the book stand out?
I'm sending out information to local news sources in Oklahoma. Hopefully Jennifer gets interviewed, or at least something get printed in the paper where she is doing podcasts. No.
Doing podcasts, that's niche. Worldwide, actually.
Yeah. And then all the ads that we're running. Yeah. Anything else we can think of, honestly. Yeah.
Good. Again, why don't you tell our listeners what the website is for the book so they can find it?
All right. If Jennifer's story touched you today, I invite you to read Wandering in the Shadows. It is a story of brokenness, bravery, and the grace that saved Jennifer's life. You can find the book at wanderingintheshadows.com and Amazon. Thank you for supporting this story of redemption. And Mike, thank you for having me here today.
Donna, thanks for doing the show. Listeners, I'm thrilled to share with you this podcast, which is my passion project to bring knowledge, inspiration, and things you need to know about the villages and the people living here. Be sure to hit the follow button to get the newest episode each week. Or you can hit the purple supporter box. Even a small donation of $3 to $10 a month makes a big difference. And you can cancel your subscription at any time. Your support means the world to us. Stay curious, stay inspired, and keep those headphones on.
Remember, our next episode will be released next Friday at 9 a.m. Should you want to become a major supporter of the show or have questions, please contact us at mike@rothvoice.com. This is a shout-out for supporters: Tweet Coleman, Ed Williams, Dwayne Romick, Paul Sorgan, and Dr. Craig Curtis at K2 in the Villages. We will be hearing more from Dr. Curtis with short Alzheimer's tips each week. If you know someone who should be on the show, contact us at mike@rothvoice.com. The way our show grows is with your help. Text your friends about this show. If you enjoyed listening, or just tell your friends, we thank everyone for listening. The content of the show is copyrighted by Roth Voice 2025, all rights reserved.